President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's so-called economic reforms in the last 2 years have impoverished Nigerians. And as the Tinubu administration is set to release its documentary showing that it has performed well, this video is to show 10 key ways in which the so-called economic reforms of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu have contributed to widespread impoverishment of the Nigerian people. And these are the facts as we see it, as you can Google it, unlike the propaganda they are about to release to Nigerians to mark their 2 years of underperformance or no performance at all. Number one, fuel subsidy removal and the surge in fuel prices. In May 2023, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu announced the removal of fuel subsidies, which led to a dramatic increase in petrol prices from 184 naira to over 1,200 naira per liter. The policy has escalated transportation costs, affecting daily commutes and the price of goods, the prices of goods and services nationwide. That is the fact. Fact number two is that the so-called economic reforms has led to currency devaluation and deflation. The unification of the naira exchange rate resulted in nearly 200% devaluation of the naira against the dollar. Now, this has led to a significant rise in inflation, with food inflation reaching over 40%, thereby eroding the purchasing power of ordinary Nigerians. That is a fact. You can take it to the bank. It's a fact. You can Google it. That's the reality. To be different from what the government is about to unleash in their document. Number three, effect of the so-called reform is high unemployment rates in the country. Unemployment rates have soared across Nigeria under the current administration, with official youth unemployment reaching 86%, and overall unemployment with official youth employment 8.6%. That's what the official, if you ask the government, and I'm sure in their document they are going to show you, they are going to put the youth unemployment at 8.6%. 8.6%. That's what the official unemployment rate by the government is. But the overall unemployment rate is put at over 40%. It reached over 40% by the third quarter of 2024. Perhaps let me take this number three key point to show how the Tinubu's so-called economic reforms have impoverished Nigerians. High unemployment rates. Unemployment rates have soared under the current administration, with official youth unemployment reaching 8.6% and overall unemployment at 40% by the third quarter of 2024. Now, this has left millions of Nigerians without source of income, without sources of income. thereby exacerbating poverty levels in the country. Now, the same reform, so-called, has led to rising cost of living. Number 4, rising cost of living. The combined effects of fuel price hikes, currency devaluation, and deflation have led to a significant increase in the cost of living. Basic food items such as rice, a bag of 50 kg of rice, have seen prices soar and increase to 3 times their normal price, making them unaffordable for ordinary Nigerians. Now, number 5, impact of the so-called reform that have impoverished Nigerians is inadequate social safety nets. Despite the implementation of some of the harshest economic policies ever, the implementation policies have increased the economic hardship in the country. Yet, the administration has not provided social safety net, effective social safety net. Promise initiatives such as cash transfer and they call it conditional cash transfer, and mass transit buses have largely remained unfulfilled, leaving vulnerable Nigerians without adequate support. In fact, in this matter, even the Nigerian Labour Congress has failed Nigerians when they were negotiating about the issue of fuel subsidy removal, the new minimum wage and everything. It was part of the agreement that they will roll out buses, they will roll out CNG buses, they will do all this and that. None of those kind of safety nets were implemented. Nothing. Nigerians, the vulnerable Nigerians, are passing through hell as a result of this policy. Now, number 6, effect of Tinubu's so-called economic reform is increased poverty level in Nigeria. Poverty has increased to unprecedented level in Nigeria. The New York Times and the Financial Times of London, in their analysis of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration, they concluded that Nigeria is passing through a kind of economic stress that is only seen once in a generation. That was their verdict. So the economic reforms by Tinubu have pushed millions into deeper poverty. According to reports, the number of poor Nigerians have risen to 104 million, with 133 million living in multi-dimensional poverty, facing deprivation in areas such as sanitation, healthcare, food, and housing. Number 7, effect of the so-called reform is the decline in business activities. Small and medium-sized enterprises have suffered under this reform. It has led to increase in energy costs, increase in borrowing costs and rates, and the volatile exchange rate have led to reduced business activities, with many SMEs lowering their operation or closing down totally. It's not only the SMEs that are suffering. Several companies, multinational companies, because of these reforms, Nigeria has lost over 20 multinational companies that exited from Nigeria because the economic reforms of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu made Nigeria unviable for investment. These people pull out their billions of dollars out of Nigeria, and the people are paying the price, including pharmaceutical companies. That is why cost of drugs is beyond the reach of our average Nigerian. Cost of drugs, especially drugs to treat terminal ailments in Nigeria, they are beyond the reach of the average Nigerian. Drugs for hypertension, diabetes, and all those kind of terminal ailments, people are suffering because of this government's poorly implemented economic reform. Now, number 8, impact. How it has impoverished this so-called economic reform. Number 8, impact it had on Nigerians is escalating food insecurity. The removal of fuel subsidies and the devaluation of the naira have contributed to rising food prices across the country, making it difficult for many Nigerians, most Nigerians, to afford basic meals. Reports indicate that food inflation reached 40% in 2024, with many households spending a significant portion of their income on food. The number 9 impact of Tinubu's economic reform has been public discontent and social unrest. The economic hardship resulted to demonstrations and protests across the country. Now, this protest was as a result of social discontent about the state of the nation and how the country is being managed. So the citizens, out of frustration, took to the street. And the most notable of that protest was the End Bad Governance protest, in which several Nigerians were killed, young Nigerians were killed by security agents. Number 10, impact this so-called economic reforms has cost this country is stagnant economic growth. Despite the implementation of the reforms, the economy of Nigeria has remained sluggish. According to reports, real GDP growth slowed to 2.9% in 2023, with weak performances in sectors such as agriculture and trade, indicating that the anticipated benefits of the reforms have not materialized as expected, because those implementing the so-called reforms are not sincere. My friend, this is the reality on the ground about the state of the nation, the state of Nigeria's economy, the true fact about Tinubu's so-called economic reform. That is the way it is. They are about to unleash their own documentary on the nation, where they will whitewash all these things we have talked about. But these are living realities of Nigerians. That is the state of the nation in the last 2 years under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Do not believe any other thing they are going to tell you in this documentary, this propaganda documentary that they are about to unleash on the Nigerian people to mark 2 years of their administration. I don't know whether there's anything I missed in this top 10 ways that Nigerians have been impoverished by Tinubu's so-called economic reforms. If there are some that I didn't remember, you can put it down at the commentary session. And if you think that the government have performed, that they have done well, you also have the right of reply to put it on the commentary section to tell us the areas they have done well in terms of the economy. Because we are talking about that Nigerians are impoverished. Nigerians are worse off today than they were 2 years ago. And may I ask, are you better off today than you were 2 years ago? Let's hear from you at the comment section. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, God will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.